One of the most common questions that I get is how much does high level actually cost? I've been talking a lot about high level recently, and I know that can be a little strange to some people because they're like, why is this guy talking about high level all of a sudden? Well, I've been using high level in my own agency for several years now. I might even say many years. And in all of those years of using it, I felt like it was a pretty good tool, but it was never good enough for me to say, you know what, I want to take that and talk about that on my Convology YouTube channel or really introduce that to my community. But recently, they've really started to make such a massive shift in the quality of the product and in the value offering of the product and all the things that it can do. And so that's why on my channel, you've seen me talk about it more. And if you're in my community, you've seen me say, hey, you should really consider this as part of your portfolio and your tech stack. So naturally, I've been getting the question a lot. Well, Doug, how much does high level really cost? Because people are smart. They see that there are plans. There's the 97 plan, the 297 plan, the 497 plan. And I'll go over those differences in just a second. But there are also usage costs behind the scenes. You know, what does it cost to send an email? Does it cost anything to have contacts? What does it cost to use AI or SMS? I'll go over all of that. But those types of questions are why I built this app, this high level cost calculator for free. The link's down below in the description. I'm not even asking you for your email address. It's down below in the description. Click on it. It's embedded on my website. Go ahead and use it. Spoilers, I built it with AI. It's kind of cool. But basically, I want to walk you through how to use this to see what high level will cost you personally based on what tools you're currently using, what tools you can replace with it, walk through some of the tools, why you would want to replace them, some you wouldn't want to replace, and then go through the usage costs with you as well. So the way that I like to approach this is I like to look at the different categories of tools and see what I'm currently using. So you can say, okay, are you using a CRM or anything to manage your pipeline? Maybe you're using something like ActiveCampaign, or maybe you're using Fluent CRM or another tool. So you would click this button and say, how much are you spending? Now, if you're using ActiveCampaign for your CRM, you can see that ActiveCampaign is, wow, ballooned in prices. I just opened this up about 10 minutes ago, but it looks like they've settled on a better pricing model. They were breaking this out for a while, but let's look at the starter. Let's say 5,000. This includes the CRM, $79 per month. That's the number that I would put in inside of my calculator. But now you have two places that you could put this cost. You could put this under email marketing, or you could put this under CRM and pipeline management. In this case, I would probably just put it under email marketing and say I'm spending $79 a month on email marketing. And I would then probably in this case leave the CRM and pipeline off because you don't want to like double dip it. But let's say that you were using Fluent CRM. Fluent CRM, if I pull up their pricing, costs for one site $129 per year after the sale goes away. So let's just say $129 per year. So I would come in here and I would say, what is 129 divided by 12? That is 1075. Now for sales funnels, you may say, what's that? Well, if you hover these tooltips, you'll see it replaces things like ClickFunnels, lead pages, Unbound, Thrivecart, SureCart. Let's say you're using SureCart. Let's say their yearly plan, $179 a year, renews at $199. I always like to do the renewal price, so we'll do $199 divided by 12. It's about 16. We'll just say 16 bucks. It's a little bit more than that, but we'll just lowball it there. We'll say about $16 a month for sales funnels, maybe use a variety of tools. For email marketing in this case, since we're using Fluent CRM as our example here, our email marketing costs would be what we are essentially paying an SMTP service provider for. Maybe we're using Amazon SES, maybe we're maybe we didn't get approved for that and we're using something else. The average here is about $15 that I found. So we'll put 15. 2A SMS marketing, you can decide if you're using this or not. You can see that this replaces things like Twilio, TextMagic, Simple Texting. Maybe we put $5 there. Let's just put $2. Reputation management, if you're using a review tracking tool or a review display tool, I put like Yexpert and review trackers. There's other ones out there. You can decide. I'm going to leave that off. AI messaging, this would be like ManyChat. So ManyChat, Chatfuel, Chatbot, that type of thing. If I go to ManyChat's website, ManyChat says the first paid plan is $15 a month. However, this scales with the number of contacts that you have. So if you have 2,500 contacts, it's now $25 per month. And let's just put $25 per month, even though we were saying more at 45, well, let's just do 25. Let's be conservative. So we'll put $25 a month there. If you want to replace your website hosting, you would check this box. So let's say, you know what, we don't need a WordPress website. Or actually, you know what, I'm going to leave this off. I'm going to say I'm keeping my website in WordPress. Now, if you're using a courses and products platform, maybe you're using something like Kajabi or Circle with double dip in this case, so you'd only put it once under community or courses. But let's go with, let's say we're using something like SureDash. So let me bring up the SureDash pricing. SureDash is currently on a $299 deal, but let's break that up over a couple of years. Let's say 3 years. So we'll do $299 divided by 36. We'll put in about $8 a month for that. Now, granted, if you were using another tool, that would be significantly higher. But let's say we also are using an official community platform. I am personally using Circle, so I'm going to put $89 a month in there because that's what it is monthly for a plan that I use. So $89 a month, okay, pretty big. I could use, SureDash for that, but maybe I've decided that a community in WordPress isn't the right thing for me. If you're using a surveys and forms, this would be like Jotform or Typeform or Fluent Forms or Sure Forms. So let's say we're using Sure Forms, and the plan that you want to be on is the $199 a year, because the digital signatures, PDF generator, surveys, quizzes, all that fun stuff. You absolutely want that, even to come close to feature parity with HighLevel. So $199 a year, which is, we'll just put $16 a month. We'll lower it. I know it's like almost $17, but we'll put 15 just because, fill in whatever form you're using pricing. Booking appointments, that's like Calendly. We'll put $15 a month there. Actually, I think Calendly's 10. Workflow automations, this would be like webhooks and premium actions if you're using other tools for it. I'll leave it off because I don't think it would cost us anything under our current setup to do something like that. Although the workflow automations does not have feature parity between Fluent CRM and HighLevel. HighLevel's far more robust. We'll just leave that off just for fun. We'll leave call tracking off. This would be like CallRail, whatever. Tracking and analytics. If you use Google Analytics, obviously that's 0. If you're using Fathom Analytics, it's like 12. We'll leave all that off though, and we'll just do document signing. I send proposals through a platform called Better Proposals, which costs me about, let's just say $10 a month. We have done a fairly good job here of putting in our costs and the platforms that we're using and what we're spending our money on. So now let's look at our different plans. We've got the starter plan, which is $97 a month. That is where most small businesses who want to have their own HighLevel account should go. You get 3 sub accounts, but you don't get all of the features available on the Unlimited or the Pro plan. Now, and what are those features? Well, the Unlimited plan gives you unlimited sub accounts, and the Pro SaaS plan also does, but the Pro SaaS plan lets you essentially white label and turn it into like a SaaS platform where someone can purchase on your website and then instantly have an account set up. There's a couple other like little nuanced things that are available, like API and things like that, but for the vast majority of small businesses, the $97 per month plan, if you choose to go directly to HighLevel, is the plan you'd want to select. And I have a plan here called the Convology Plus member plan, which is $50 a month, which gives you all the features of the Pro SaaS plan, but 1 sub account. This is not for agencies, but you get 1 sub account for $50 a month, but you get all the features on the Pro SaaS plan. You're my customer, not directly with HighLevel. So if you need support, you come to me and I go to HighLevel if I need to. It's about half the price of the starter plan. So most members of Convology Plus are coming through me, obviously. But let's leave it on the $97 per month plan. Let's say you want to have your own account. So we can come down here and we can see what your current monthly spend is. So based on what you've input here on the left, your current monthly spend is $200.75. And your HighLevel monthly cost would be, well, here's where we've got to enter in a few more numbers. I've gone ahead and I've put in some usage costs for you to calculate, because inside of HighLevel, you do spend for usage. It's a little bit different, right? You may say, wow, this whole platform for $97 a month, or this whole platform for $50 a month. There are usage costs. They're not huge. They're actually quite reasonable, but you do have to account for them, because you don't want to be surprised and be like, wait, I thought I was only spending 97. And then you send 100,000 emails and you wonder why you're spending, $50 more. So let's put in some email marketing numbers here. If I sent 500 emails a month, I would spend 40 cents. Let's say I sent 10,000 emails. Let's say I have a list of 5,000 and I email my list twice. That's going to cost me $8. Let's say for 2-way SMS, maybe I want to send some messages. Let's just say 100 of them. I'll spend less than $1. And then for AI messaging, let's up that to about 500. Let's say I want to send 500 AI messages. That's chatbot messages, ManyChat messages, Instagram DMs, using AI throughout the whole platform. That's what my usage costs would be. So now you can see the cost went up a little bit. Now my HighLevel monthly cost is $115, but I was going to be spending $275. After 3 years, the cost of one of those tools might have dropped off, but it still wouldn't have been less than $115.95. So you can see I chose the 97 plan, but I'm spending $115. That's why I wanted to make this calculator to help you calculate this. So you can see your average estimated monthly savings is going to be about $85. And your annual savings is going to be over $1,000 saved annually. And then if you're a member of the Convology Plus platform and you want to pay only $50 a month, suddenly you're saving huge. You're only spending $68 versus $200. And you could send 30,000 emails a month, which would be a healthy amount to send on a 5,000 subscriber list. And that would be an almost $85 in high level costs. But then your estimated savings would be almost $1,400 a year in savings. And let's say you weren't using Fluent CRM, but you were using ActiveCampaign, or let's not choose the most expensive market. Let's choose ConvertKit, and you'd want to be on the creator plan. If I have about 5,000, that's about $66 a month. So let's come in here and make some changes. Let's update this to $66 a month. And let's take off, let's take off the CRM because we don't have one at that point. And the cost of email marketing, let's turn that to $66 a month. Now look at your savings. Now your savings are even bigger. Even on the $97 per month plan, your savings are huge. You have to look at HighLevel as more than just one thing. If all you use it for is email marketing, I'll turn everything else off but email marketing and just say we were coming from ConvertKit. If I was just doing email marketing and I come over and I say, you know what, I want to be a member of Convology Plus, I'll do the $50 per month plan. And you look at this, well, you actually lose about $8 a month on that deal. But HighLevel really isn't just an email platform. It's an all-in-one platform. It's a full suite of tools. So you have to think about it that way, and you have to decide other things that you want to factor into the cost in order to decide if it's worth it for you. And being blunt, it's not right for every business. Some businesses are barely sending any email. They're using Fluent CRM that they got a lifetime deal on. Yes, they're paying for their WordPress hosting, which I think you do have to say I am using website hosting. That's something that I didn't point out when I was doing this cost calculator. In order to use Fluent CRM, I actually had to put that I was using website hosting. And in most cases, people are spending between $20 and $30 a month. So if I did turn most of these back on and redid all the numbers, which I've already changed them all, so I won't, but if I turn them back on, that's another $30 a month, $360 a year that I'd be spending just to use Fluent CRM. Don't forget about those costs. You have to have hosting and decent hosting to use Fluent CRM long term. If you're using SureDash, you have to have WordPress hosting. If you're using SureCart for your checkouts, you have to have WordPress hosting. So put that in the cost as well. But anyway, what I'm pointing out here is that take a look at all the tools you're using, put all your pricing in. Don't forget WordPress hosting. Then consider the tools you want to use. Add those on there too, and the cost you would be spending on the left. So this can be things you are spending or would want to spend, and then select a plan on the right and see what your savings or your costs would be with HighLevel. I do have some additional links down here. You can learn more about HighLevel, start a 30-day trial, or learn about Convology Plus if you're interested. That's my membership where you can get all kinds of different support, access to me, weekly office hours, and that kind of thing. So hopefully this is helpful to you. Hopefully this kind of gives you a little bit more insight into the costs of HighLevel and how the whole kind of system works. And if you'd like to check out my workshop, I'll also link that down below. Totally free workshop on getting started with HighLevel. Even if you're not a HighLevel user, check it out. It'll give you kind of a glimpse into the initial setup of HighLevel, some basics of how to use the platform, and get your account all set up and ready to go. If you have any additional questions about HighLevel, feel free to reach out and I'd be happy to answer them for you.